Hello, 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 friends. Today we will make a backpack. Hi, I'm Tiffany. Welcome to my quilting life. It's the afternoon on a Thursday, and I am sitting at my industrial machine because today we're going to make a backpack, and I'm going to use this, and I'm going to use over there, and I'm going to use over there, and I'm going to use over there, and I'm just going to be all over the place today in this room so that I could show you how to just make your own. There's going to be no exact measurements here because the measurements come from the amount of space you have available on your jeans, on your recycled jeans. So I'll be able to go through how to do this with you guys that way. Diane, Nancy, Danelle, Mary, hello everybody. So we're going to be making a backpack out of jeans, and I'm going to show you how. But I'm going to warn everybody that's coming on in just another minute. Brenda and Polly, hello. I'm going to be moving the camera around today, so if you get motion sickness at all or anything by watching, just turn your head down until the camera is in the motion or place that it needs to be. We're going to go from this machine to the other table because I don't have multiple cameras yet in the future, hopefully, where one can be sitting here and one can be sitting there, and all I have to do is press a button to switch them.
We do have them. We just have issues with doing that.
Yeah, I do have them. I just have issues with doing that because, you know,
work.
Yeah, I can't get it all to work. Not when I want it to, but, you know. Anyway, so we're going to just move the camera as needed. So welcome everybody that's joining. Let's make a butt backpack. Not really a butt backpack. You don't put a backpack on your butt. Instead, we're going to make a backpack out of the butt of a pair of recycled jeans. So we're going to go over that way now to the table, the other side of the room, and we're going to work with some jeans. I have like so many jeans because my kids, I had 4 kids, you know, so all 4 of them grew so fast that I started saving all the jeans and all the skirts and all the things that they'd wore that was jean fabric. Now I can use it for wood making whatever I want with it all because none of it fits me and I don't want any of it because some of it's got holes in it. But hey, again, recycled clothing.
Where did you get the light on your machine?
The light comes with the machine. The machine here, my Juki DU 1181N, it didn't even say it in the ad. It just showed up with a light. And I was like, how am I supposed to see with this machine? And bam, there was a light in there. I was like, yes.
Have you ever made a quilt out of old jeans?
I have not made a quilt out of old jeans, so that's in the future with the leftovers of all the stuff that I'm chopping up for bags. So let's change the camera around and hopefully it doesn't get any of you dizzy. Because, yeah, come on, camera. There we go. All right. I'm just going to keep you right here. Why is that turned? There we go. Nice and straight so that you can see what I'm cutting. So the fabrics I'm using today is these jeans, which are super cool. They're whitewashed or bleached or whatever you want to call this, but they have all this coolness to them on the legs. So they were like, you know, really cool looking.
They're cut out at the knees. Those are holes there.
Yeah, they're cut out but patch.
Yeah.
That's the way they sold them. Yeah.
Yes, I see that.
So they kind of look futuristic almost and grungy all at the same time, but then up here there's grunginess and it's really cool. And these is one of the, I had to look and look and look because my kids were little also, so it's, and I'm little, so it's really hard to find a pair of pants that have a nice big butt. We needed a big butt for this because the bigger the butt, the bigger the bag. The smaller the butt, the smaller the bag, because we're making it from the back side. This is going to be our front pocket on our bag. So we needed a nice big chunky pair of bootiness. And then my lining fabric and pocket fabric are going to be made of this canvas that I have here. It's just a Walmart brand canvas that I've had in my room, and we're going to use that for the lining and the pocket. But I'm going to use all the jean, well, not all of it, but I'm going to use a lot of jean for the whole outside of the bag this time instead of adding fabric. We're just going to use jean only. So let's get started. The first thing that you're going to need to do is chop them up. So I'm literally going to split these at the seam. So I'm going to literally just cut right here along this seam. And I'm going to take it all the way around the crotch side to the front side, right up to the zipper area. And I'm not going to be using the zipper or zipper area of these pants in the future, so I'm just chopping that away. And now I have one side of the pants, okay? Now I'm going to split down this side right here. So I'm going to split down this seam with the scissors as well. So I'm just opening it up to the inner thigh area and going all the way down the leg. And you'll be able to do this without any measurements or numbers because your jeans are going to give you your measurements. I'm just showing you how to do it and verbally, visually giving you an instruction on how I'm doing mine. So now I have this nice big chunk of fabric here. Look at that. Nice big chunk so that I can make a nice backpack. So I'm going to start with, I think I'm going to come down. I don't want this on here, right here. And my bag is going to curve right here at the top anyway. So I am going to fold this in half like this. And I'm going to decide how tall I want my backpack to be and how wide I want it to be at the bottom. So right here, I want this pocket to land higher. So this part is going to get used in my bag. So we're going to come up beyond it. And I want a pretty tall backpack. So I'm going to come to about right here. I'm going to flatten it out. And I'm literally going to just cut this out. I know I end right here, so I'm going to try to keep it as far over that way as possible by feeling for it. I'm going to scissor cut it. And then I'm going to come to this side and keeping that nice and straight. I'm going to make sure that any and all like button or snaps and all that stuff is out of my way because I cut that the other day accidentally. And let's just say it hurts your scissors and it hurts your hands. So I'm going to cut this side now, nice and straight. I can get it nice and flat because I'm at some seams right here. And yes, I probably could have grabbed a better pair of scissors, but I did not. I'm going to turn it. And this is going to come off. Yeah, surprisingly, these are pretty good scissors. I'm just going to cut right here. Across the top. This bottom section I'm going to be using, so I'm not going to chop that up just yet. I'm going to still use that stuff. So my backpack now is going to be most of.
Could you use thrift store jeans?
You can go get jeans from a thrift store. You can go down the street to your cousin Bobo's house and pick up all his jeans. Doesn't matter. Just go get a pair of jeans with a nice big booty. Like I said, my jeans don't have them, so I saved all my kids', all my family members, anybody that ever came and had jeans, I saved them. All right, because this is the back, which will be the back on my back side, I'm going to use this because it was a lot skinnier as my guide to create a curve. However curved I want the back of my backpack to be. I'm going to use this side for it because this side is a little bit smaller. So I'm literally just going to straighten this side up. Use scissors for this. And you can make it equal by folding it in half. I am not doing that. I'm going to cut that excess off real quick. We're going to create my curve up here. Come on. There's a nice curve right there. It's not perfect. And then I'm going to come to this side and create that same kind of curve. Again, you fold it in half if you want to get a curve, but I need it more curvier than that. That should be good. Right here. Let's come down. And you can see there's a lot of layers here, so this is why I have my industrial machine, because of all this layers. That's equal, that's equal. I'm going to come to this side and make this side equal. All this is garbage. Now you see I have a curve. And it doesn't look very square, does it? So I need to square it up a little. So see how right here I have it on a line and this side is curving in sooner and it kind of looks crooked. I need to cut this side off a little bit more. And this is where I'm just going to grab a rotary cutter and create this right here a little bit better. It just needs to come off the top just right here a little bit more. And yes, I'm watching my fingers. This is where scissors are a little bit safer. That looks good.
Do you want a different rotary cutter?
Nope.
Do you want a different pair of scissors?
Nope. That looks good. All right, now let's lay it here so you guys can see. This top part is still not where it needs to sit. So just a little bit more of a curve right there. Now it looks equal across the top. See? I'm going to straighten this side out. And then the next step is to interface this piece with some interfacing. Because this is the shape of the back and the front of my backpack now. And just know that jeans actually make a really big mess. In case you were wondering, they make a really, really big mess.
Okay, I will clean up for you.
All right. So I need to interface the back side of this so that it's nice and thick. So we need to plug an iron in and grab some interfacing. And you can see we have the shape. If you want yours to be more curvier, make it more curvier. I'm trying to save space right here between this part of the pocket. If you're sewing on a domestic machine, you need to be aware of that kind of stuff. Huh? I'm going to bring it over there.
You mean iron it?
Nope, because I got to put an interfacing on it.
Oh, okay.
All right, while we're waiting for that iron to warm up, like I said, we're all over the room today because I'm grabbing stuff all over the room. I'm going to start by cutting my lining piece. This same exact size, but I'm literally using scissors for this. Because we're also going to make a pocket too. But I want this at the fold. So you can see I'm getting that same exact size. I want this at the fold down here because this part up here we're going to make a pocket with for the inside of the bag. We're going to cut more from there too because we're going to need parts and pieces for a little bit of everything with this bag. So I'm going to cut this curve. You literally make this whole thing up as you go. It's very easy. Okay, both my pieces are almost now the same exact size. Now they should be the same exact size.
Can we make it a bigger one?
You could make it as big as you want. So you see these are now exactly the same size. Just by using scissors. See? All right, set it aside. We're going to make our pocket. I'm telling you, this goes pretty quick. Once you get all the sections you need made. All right, I'm going to cut that off because I don't need that. And then these two pieces here, you can see they're still whatever. I'm going to cut the selvage off. And depending on how big the back of your bag is, oh, that's going to be plenty size. I'm going to straighten this up so that I can make the pocket for inside of the bag using this right here. So these two pieces are going to go right sides together. We're going to sew most of the way around, leave an opening, and we're going to create a pocket that we're going to sew directly on to the backing fabric. All right, now we need to cut some more parts and pieces, but first let's interface both these pieces now. And to do that, I'll show you. I'm using Pellon 911 because it's all I have that's this thick. I don't have any thicker. I probably could use some Decoville Light, but the one I have is pretty thick. So I need a little bit more than this. So I need 2 cuts this size. And then I need to cut 1 extra so that I have enough for the end. If that makes any sense. Because I still have to go around the curve. Because this is only 20-inch interfacing. And 1 more for the curve on the one side. So you need a lot. But you put yours on as whatever brand you want to use, or whatever. Where'd my scissors go? They fell.
Underneath. Yep. There you go.
Okay. So this one, this is the bumpy side right here is going to get ironed onto here, and then I'm going to add the other half to it right here, and then cut out that excess. So let me iron that on the lining real quick. First, I got to iron the lining. It's kind of wrinkly. All right. Just gonna lay it on here. Give it a little bit of heat to keep it in place. Turn it around and iron from the top. And yes, I'm putting the interfacing on the lining and on the bag itself. I want it to be, I want it to stand up nicely. All right, so here's the 1/2 on there, okay? Now I'm just gonna go ahead and put this other half on here, meeting them up. And I'm gonna cut this to size, just like that. And then iron it on. Now it's fully on there. The only thing I have to do is trim off all this excess. And at the same time, I'm straightening out the piece. Some of that will get just caught in the seam, which is fine. All right, that's garbage. All right, now we're going to do the same procedure to the jeans, which I'm going to press real quick first, because they are super duper wanting to roll up on the sides. And I'm making sure everything is very flat because there are seams that this stuff is going to be going over. Let's put the long one on first. From the other side. Obviously, you can't see what I'm doing, but that just moves the camera even more. We're trying to prevent too much camera movement.
You're just ironing the nose there.
just ironing it on. Just be very careful when ironing it on the jean because you have to really get it on there. And steam kind of helps because it pushes through the layers because I'm going through a pocket and some seams and whatever else.
Well, when ironing on stabilizer, which side do you iron?
When ironing on stabilizer, I actually go from the fabric side. But since this is jean, I just put a couple heat presses to hold it on to this side first, then flipped it. All right, so now I'm just going to go ahead and make this one. I'm going to iron this on this end real quick, butting it right up. I'm already hot and sweaty right here. Every time at the iron.
On Sunday when you had me ironing, I was sweating. It happens. In the winter, it's great, but in the summer, it's hot.
Yeah, it's hot to be at the iron when it's summertime. So my bag is going to look a little on the crooked side, and that's because the pocket doesn't really sit straight. I mean, the pockets are a little curved on our butt because they go with the curves on our body, and then they actually sit straight on our behinds. So if you look at it from the front like this, you can see that it's kind of sideways, and it is, which is okay. All right, so I'm going to just cut the excess of this away now. Mr. Thumpy came to say hi.
He says, "What is that, Mama? What is that?" Oh,
He always comes in here. Scott and I are both in here. If it was just me only, he doesn't really come in here. If it's just Scott only, he really doesn't come in here. It's weird. It's only when we're on live stream. All right, so my interfacing did not stick very well behind all these seams right here, so I really got to give it a good press. It doesn't even look like it was heated up. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Takes more than 3 seconds on jeans to get this stuff on here. If you have a heat press, it probably works better. I do not have a heat press. They're kind of expensive. Okay. Now, it's on there. Okay. Garbage that. All right, here's my outside panel, my inside panel, and now we're going to, with the regular sewing machine right here, just going to sew these two pieces for my pocket. I'm going to leave an opening and sew all the way around. Oops, let's see how big it is first. Let's shrink that down in size, Tiffy. I'm ahead of you guys. Let's see. It sits right there. We want it to be about right here, right there. All right, so I'm going to cut my pocket on here down just a little bit more. It's going to be a pretty deep pocket. I need to trim the bottom off just a little bit more. Oh, about right there. So it's about, where am I at? It's about almost 8 inches by almost 8 inches. Wow, I couldn't do that again if I tried without measuring. All right. So I'm just going to leave the opening, sew all the way around with a 1/4 inch seam, creating a pocket because we're going to be sewing that on before we do anything. So we're bouncing from machine to machine today for this. Okay, I sewed all the way around, leaving an opening. I'm going to trim off my corners right here up to the stitching, but not the stitching because we don't want that in there. in the back side. It's a lot of bulk because it is canvas. Not very good canvas, but it is canvas. All right, so I'm going to flip it out, find a tool to poke my corners out. And this is the same with any slip pocket doing this. Most slip pockets are like this. Okay, come on. Get that. And one more corner. And what I do is I'm going to press this now so that it's nice and flat. And then we're going to put it in there as a pocket and sew it down. It's taking me a second because I've got to fold this stuff under, make it all nice and pretty looking. All right, now that it's pressed, what I'm going to do is just sew across the top real quick, and then the rest I'm going to sew down when I insert it onto my lining piece. So I'm going to sew across the top. I'm going to change my stitch length. It's just a top stitch. Make it look decent. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my lining and I'm going to have the opening of my pocket towards one of the curves. It doesn't matter which side you put it on, because technically when we put the bag together, it's going to land on the back of your bag, not on the side that has the front pocket. So when you fold it in half like this, you're going to know that this is going to be about 4-inch down here. So it's best to have the pocket a little bit towards the curve. So about right here is perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch this on here now. Just going to stitch down the two sides and across the bottom, and I'll have a nice big slip pocket. And I'm just centering it. This is all by eye because it's not going to be perfect. There's no perfect measurement with this. And I am going to switch to the other machine for the assembly of this bag because it's going to be very thick. Starter, and now I have a slip pocket inside of my backpack. You can add more pockets. You could have put a zipper pocket in here if you wanted, or whatever. The choice is up to you. All those decisions are yours with your backpack. I'm mainly just showing you how to get these two pieces into a backpack. So the next step is some measurements. We're going to cut some pieces we need now to create the gusset, which is the piece that's going to go in between the top and the bottom. So we're going to create a gusset. So I'm just going to stick this aside. We're going to grab our jeans that we're cutting from. And I have a nice big chunk right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the iron to it real quick. Make it flatter right there. I want this section right here.
Is your bobbin getting low on the thread? I hear the clicking sound.
No, I don't know because I haven't looked. It probably is. All right. Let's turn it this way. I need two bottom pieces. So for example, I'm going to bring out the other bag that I made. So here's one of the butt bags. This bottom section right here, we need to cut this bottom section first. So depending on how high you want, or how low or how high you want this, or where you want your zipper to start, will determine how big this section right here is. That's going to get sewn right there. So that's going to be the bottom part of the gusset. So you need to determine how big you want that to be on both sides, because both sides get it. So both sides. So my opening at the top here is, I think it's the perfect backpack size. If you could see, you could open it all the way. You can go lower if you want. That choice is up to yours, but just know that your next measurement is going to come from whatever you choose here. So we're going to cut a 4-inch by, I'm just going to cut off 2 4-inch pieces on here, honestly. I'm just going to go ahead and cut that. Turn this.
Kim's had so many compliments on her quilt. Everyone who has seen it. One lady tried to buy it, and she said, "No way."
How
I
funny.
wanted you to know.
That's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and straighten this up. And I'm going to cut this side and cut 2 4-inch pieces off of here. This is actually a big bag, so I think I'm going to cut 4.5 because this is pretty. No, I'm going to cut 4. No, I'm going to cut 4.5. I'm going to cut 4.5 just because it's pretty big. All right, so 4.5. I'm going to cut 2 4.5-inch strips. Set that piece aside because, again, that could be used for anything. And now this, we're just going to do some imagining here. Here's the bag. We're also going to be curving the bottoms of these, by the way, so that we have a full curve going in down here. All right, so we're going to imagine this is folded in half. Do you see how tall that is? That's pretty tall. So you just pretend like you took a seam away, you're holding it open. You can see how tall it's going to sit. My opening of the bag will be really high, so I'm going to take these down just a little bit. So I'm going to stack them on top of each other. Straighten this side one more time because I know they're not flat. They keep moving. It's jeans. And I'm going to take it down. This is all, make it up as you go.
How do you cut without measuring anything?
I just do. I cut a lot without measuring a lot of things. I guess I'm used to it. All right, I'm going to take it down to 7.5. So 5, 6, 7.5. All right, I'm taking it down to 7.5 inches. That seems good. And I'm going to cut my curves down here. Curves, curves, curves. I guess I could just do it with this. Your curves, you can use a tool if you want. Like, say you have this right here. You can cut a curve off of it like this. I can't roll that next to it, but, you know, you can mark it like this using something to get that curve. Okay, this is not right on Jean. Anyway, I'm just going to cut my curves by folding it in half. Holding it nice and snug. And then cut just a slight curve like that. So there's my bottom section of the gusset. Now I need that same exact thing from the lining. So we're going to go ahead and grab our lining fabric wherever I stuck it, right here. And we're going to cut a 4.5-inch piece off of here. And then where are we at? Right there. I make quite the mess when I make bags. I'm trying to stay all like clean in here, but it's not working.
It's okay. I will clean up for you when you're done. I told you that.
I'm going to keep this nice and straight, and I'm going to go ahead and
That is my part of the job.
get a long ruler for this real quickly and make a nice straight cut because I need to cut 4.5 inches off of here. So you make up your size as you go. If you wanted a 3.5-inch wide gusset because your bag is really small, then you can make it that. But I suggest at least 4 inches for most size bags. The bigger the bag, the bigger the number. So this bag seems pretty thick. So this one, ow!
You okay?
Oh, do not let the quilter slide lock fall on your, on your Achilles tendon.
Yeah, that sounds like it hurt. Why don't you put it, there you go.
Oh, wow, that really hurt. It scraped a big chunk of my skin off, guys.
Are you bleeding?
No, I'm not.
You need a Band-Aid?
No, just
I
got
can-
me a big chunk of skin,
I
that's
can go
all.
get you a Band-Aid.
All right, 4.5 inches. I'm going to cut a whole entire strip because I'm going to use the other half of this strip for the top portion. Okay, 4.5 inches. Move that out of the way. And then this was 7.5, right? Yep, 7.5. So we're going to cut 2 7.5 inches off of here because this is the bottom section. I'm going to be putting these 2 pieces together. And I'm not caring about the direction of the stripes, by the way. I know some of you probably are like, what about the direction? No, I'm not really paying attention to that. If you want to pay attention to the direction, then do that, but I am not. And then I'm going to match it up with these 2 pieces of the jeans to cut my, well, I'll just match it up with the one to cut my little curves for the bottom part. I'm just going to use a rotary cutter very carefully to cut around that curve. And these 2 pieces, this is the outside, so that goes with that one. Was that the outside or the inside? That's the outside. I don't know, I can't tell anymore. They are recycled jeans, and that one's going to go with this one. And these are going to get interfaced. So again, I'm going to cut another piece of interfacing off of here. Should be able to get 2 4.5 inch strips off of here. And I'm going to put them on this side and the other side. This section of the jeans, I'm telling you, I can't tell the difference. Like I think that would be the good side. Let's see. They both look exactly the same to me. And that one on that. So I'm going to interface these real quick, making sure that my bubble side is up. So you can see I have a little bit hanging off. I just got to cut the curve out of it. All right. Alrighty. Oops, what am I doing? All right, for this one, I need to put the interfacing on these, so I need to cut out some more. Wow, I didn't prep myself for none of this. All right, so let's cut more off of here. So I just need 4.5 inch strip off of here. And I'm going to go ahead and put these 2 on here. I'm just going to butt them up like this and put them on, and then I'll split it apart. There's a lot of prep involved in making bags, if you guys are new to bags. And if you're making a bag and you're using a different kind of interfacing, I would highly suggest you do not put it within your seam allowance. Since I'm using the 911 by the Pellon, I'm putting it in the seam allowance because I have an industrial and I can sew through it. But if you don't have an industrial and you can't sew through the thicker interfacings, then do not put it on in the seam allowance, which would be a 1/4 inch or however big of a seam allowance you're going to use. Mine is like gauged from not really a 1/4 inch because I'm not used to using the other Juki yet, the industrial. Once I get used to it, then maybe I'll have a more better 1/4 inch, but right now, I'm kind of sloppy with it. But I'll get used to it. Just have to use it more. All right, those 2 pieces are done. I'm gonna make them a little bit flatter. You see them all not flat. Starting to curve the jean. All right, the next step is to figure out the top, but we gotta do some prepping real quick because we need, I don't have any fusible fleece or any of that, so what I'm going to use is batting, which is what I always use for bags. I'm going to find a big chunk of really thin batting because I have lots of it. And this is just from my scraps. We're going to use batting inside this bag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up. And I'm going to cut a piece of batting for this piece right here. And then I'm going to cut batting for these 2 pieces as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and I have plenty of batting to use here. I'm going to go ahead and cut it with a rotary cutter. Very carefully, like. Again, I'm so used to doing stuff like this, just random cuts, so that's why I can go pretty quickly when I'm cutting stuff like this. And yes, I have my batting in the seam allowance, but if you're using a regular domestic machine, keep this stuff out of your seam allowance because you're not going to be able to sew through all the layers that we're going to have very shortly. It's going to be way too hard. There's that. And I just need one of the pieces, and I can cut the 2 off of the one, just like this. Just like that. Oops, I need 2, not just 1. What am I doing? See, I distracted myself. Okay, second piece. Let's cut off a second one. Ooh, there should be plenty right there. Because I need 1 for each side. And this is like 1/8 inch thick cotton batting that I'm using. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the batting and this piece right here, lining, a batting, and this piece, and my jean. So the outside, your jean, your batting, and your lining. And make little sandwiches with them. Like this. And like this. Hook it all together. Just like this. And what we're going to do is clip them together so that they stay nice and flat. I'm just going to put 4 clips on here. And then I'm going to take these over to the machine, to the other Juki, and I'm going to quilt them on the big Juki. But before I do that, I got to do the lining, the bag. So here's my pocket. I want my pocket to be on this side over here. Okay? So I'm going to flip this over. My batting is already on here. You don't have to quilt if you don't want to. I am quilting mine because I want my layers to stay really nice. So I'm going to lay these on top. Here's my pocket. It's on the back side of the bag. Okay. And then that's on the front. Everything's nice and flat. And I'm going to pin these together or clip them together. There's just a bunch of clips all the way around. And I'm going to quilt this. But I'm not going to quilt it like a quilty quilt. I'm going to quilt like I'm going to do, around this pocket. So on the back side, you'll see a double stitching around the pocket. It's just to hold the layers together nicely so that we have an easy connection of everything.
Did you already mention the hardware required?
Hardware, you need some D-ring. I haven't pulled any of that out yet. So
no, you didn't really mention it.
No, you need zipper. I just use zipper by the yard because I just ordered some to do all this with. And then
I ordered it for you.
Yeah. And D-rings and you need 1, 2. If you're going to make yours a crossbody / backpack, so if you're going to make the backpack version, you need 3 D-rings. If you're going to make the crossbody and backpack version, then you need 5 D-rings. You need 1 slide adjuster and 2 lobster claws. Because remember, the bag that I'm doing right now is going to double as a crossbody and or a backpack. So 5 D-rings, 1 slide adjuster, 2 lobster claws, and that's what you need. All right, so right now I'm going to sew. I'm going to go over to the other machine and I'm going to quilt some lines on here. It's not a lot. I'm just going to, go around this pocket, go around that pocket that's in there, and maybe 2 or 3 lines across the bottom. And then I'm going to stitch all the way around the whole entire thing to hold it together really nicely. And then with these pieces, I'm just going to do an X and then all the way around it to hold it nice and flat. And then we could start, making more numbers. So here we go over to the other machine. I'm going to turn the camera in 2 seconds. I just need to make sure nothing's going to fall off this table as I work. All right, camera is moving. Welcome to my Juki DU 1181N machine. This is a industrial walking foot machine. So it has a walking foot built into it, and it's made for a thick material. So I'm going to move these pieces out of the way, and I'm going to start with this guy right here. I'm actually going to start with stitching. The knee lift is a little hard for me to use it right now because of having my surgery, but I'm getting used to it. So I'm going to drop this, and I'm going to hold my thread tail. I'm going to back stitch where I start. And now I'm going to stitch around this pocket twice. Oh, that's a very small stitch length. Let's change that right there. So I'm literally stitching around the pocket. And it's going equally because it's a walking foot. And I'm putting my needle down. Oh, nope, I need 1 more stitch. Right there. And pivoting. I always forget to do that on this machine. Also going to get rid of this starter thread. On this machine, I'm also using nylon thread. Oh, it's really going into that jean. You can't even tell. It's a nylon thread. I'm using the white, but it's the Amon nylon poly. Oh, it's poly. 16 ounce. So I'm using poly thread, not nylon. But I can switch to nylon if I want to. Because I have some of that too. And more. Getting used to this. I'm not stitching the pocket closed. I'm stitching above the pocket. You guys are curious. Right there. Back stitch. And slide that away. I'm using poly thread. I thought this stuff was the nylon one. Anyway, I'm going to do a second stitch around here now.
You done with the iron for now?
Oh, yeah, for now, yes. Okay, yep. Come down right about.
You need water or juice or anything?
My water is over there. I could use it, though.
Yes. Well, that's on here. Where would you like it? Here? There? I don't know.
Right here in my hand so I can drink.
Okay. You tell me where you want.
It is hot in this room. I don't know where the lid went.
I didn't see you.
I found it. There it is.
I'll get it. Just keep on working.
All right, making sure my needle's down when I pivot. I'm actually stitching using the foot as the guide past the previous stitching. And no, I do not have this machine set on slow. I'm getting used to sewing with it slow because if I go fast, then I go crooked. I realized I sew very crooked when I'm super duper duper fast.
You mean you found a machine that can outdo you?
Yep, I found a machine that can outdo me.
Now that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting used to it. And meet up with the previous stitch. Getting used to turning the hand wheel too to pull away properly. So I double stitched around there so you could see it's like it's quilted, but it's really not. I mean, it's just holding it together. So now I'm going to flip it over and go around this pocket. I'm going to just start right here at the top of the pocket. So it's like I'm quilting it.
One person says, say it ain't so. Talking about the machine outdoing you.
Yeah. And yes, I do have big snips over here instead of having little ones. I probably should put little ones over
Do you
here.
want a little pair? I can get you a little pair.
So this pocket is going crooked, and I'm going to go crooked with it. I'm going to go the shape of the pocket.
Here, do you want one of these pairs up here?
No.
What would you like?
Oh, oops, I forgot to put the needle down because you're talking to me.
Oh, I'm looking at your snips. You haven't so many pairs.
Oh, no, it's fine. I'm good.
Does your industrial Juki have an oil tray?
Yes, this has a big, huge oil tray.
Yep, it's like an oil pan on a small car.
Yep. It's about the size of the oil pan on Scott's Geo.
Yep, it is.
It's pretty much the same size as the oil pan on his Geo Metro. Okay, I gotta remember to do that. This is a very hard knee lift, by the way. It's because it's so new. All right, I'm gonna go around it a second time. That way it looks, you know, because the stitching on jeans, there's 2 stitches always everywhere. So we're making it double stitched so that it looks like jeans. I should have probably used a darker thread instead of white, but I used white today. Right there. Pivot. Pivot. So and connect the 2 right here. And this machine is definitely a workout. For those of you who sew on, you know, these industrials constantly, woo-wee. It's a lot of work. All right, so I got a double stitch all the way around here. Now I'm just gonna add just like 2 lines of stitching right here in the middle, like a jean would be stitched, just to make it look good. I'm gonna go about right there. That's what it looks like going fast. Pull it away. Snippy, snippy. And then do that one more time across it, but right next to it. How about that? Now we're going to pivot. Oh, I ran out of bobbin. Look at that. Right in the middle of stitching, too.
Well, we rolled a bunch.
Yep. Sorry, guys. I got to put a bobbin in here. They take really big, huge bobbins that don't really hold as much thread because this is a very thick thread
Do you
that
have
I'm
a trash
using.
can over there? Do you want me to get one?
Just let it all fall on the floor. I'll clean it up later.
I'll clean it up later. But trash can right there.
You gotta grab it.
You want me to?
Sure. I have to see. I can't see. Where we go? Right there. Cut off all that excess.
There you go.
Thank you. All right. Let's go to where it ended because I wasn't paying attention to how much bobbin I had left.
Can you use a double needle in that machine?
No, it's a single hole, I think. Yeah, it's a single hole. So no, I cannot use a double needle. But they probably make a plate for a double needle for any of these machines. I just don't have it for mine.
Come on.
All right, just snipping on my threads here. That's probably not center of the bag. Well, maybe it is. Look at that. I think I did center. Almost. Look at that. I'm pretty good at that. All right, let's stitch all the way around the whole entire thing now just to hold it down. I'm actually going to change my stitch length to like 5 or 6. I'll do a 6. Get under there. I'm just stitching like 1/8 of an inch from the edge all the way around. Just to keep all these layers together before I can, that way I can get good numbers, measurements for hooking all this together. And yes, I can sew slow on an industrial machine. It's a miracle. All right, so temporarily, all of my lining and outside the bag are connected. I'm not even back stitching, just making sure it's all connected. So that part is done. For now, temporarily. So there's the outside of my bag. Now we need to do those little side pieces. I'll throw that over there. So I'm just going to do an X on these. All right, so I'm just going to cross from this point to that point. I think I'm going to do a double stitch one, though. I think that will look cool. And we're also going to rechange that stitch length back down. I'm going to aim for right here. They're not going to be perfect. Do this side, and then we'll do a double stitch. Okay, let's do a second stitch on that to make it look really cool. because it's jeans, so why not? Yeah, let's do this one.
It does look cool with 7 stitch. I must admit.
All right, so there's one. It has, oops, how did I tangle? That's what I get for not pulling my threads at the end. So when you don't pull the threads at the end, they will get tangled up in here. You know, when you hold them down, you have to actually hold the threads up out of the way, or else they like knot themselves, but it's okay because I can snip it all away.
Do you want a little nipper?
No, I'm good.
You need a pair at each machine. You have I think another pair. You have one more pair.
All right.
You need to put a pair at every machine.
Now, oh, I got to go all the way around it now. Just to hold it in place, even though that double stitch held it in place pretty good.
Why do you have to use the hand wheel?
Because it gets stuck if you don't. The hand wheel is highly important. You have to use the hand wheel to turn the, okay, so like the needle right now is in the down position. If I pull on the thread, look, it's coming from the bobbin area. If I turn the hand wheel, it pulls the thread back to the top. So that's open right there. So it's best to use the hand wheel on this machine to get it laying properly. All right, now to stitch this one. So I'm just going to do another double. I'm just going to stitch the one side first and then come back and do the other. I keep forgetting to hold my tails. So the hand wheel, so see my needle is down right now. If I turn the hand wheel, it opens it up so that I can pull it away nicely. Okay, and I keep forgetting to grab the tail and hold on to it, but all right, now let's stitch to the side of it. And to the side of this one. Now we'll stitch all the way around. And I'm turning the hand wheel to put the needle in a down position for rotating as well.
Working at forearms.
Yep.
Shoulder.
Definitely a forearm workout for sure.
Shoulder.
Okay, my two side pieces are ready to be attached to the top, which we need to make, but we have to get the measurements that we need first. While I'm right here, I need to get rid of this thread mess that got stuck from not paying attention. There we go. All right, those are ready. So let's go back over here. Camera's moving. I'm gonna go right there. Because now we need to get the top part. And the first thing we need is some zipper. What am I going to do? White or black zipper? What do you think?
Something like that.
I'm just going to use white.
White.
Because I'm using white thread. And pull out some zipper. I'm going to grab a zipper end. Ooh, these are nice. I like these.
Is there no needle up button on that machine?
Look at those. That's really nice. No, there's no buttons on that machine. It's all mechanical. No buttons for anything. We're also going to grab out from our wheel of stuff.
Now you're going to get out your hardware.
We need some hardware. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of those. And then we need 1 slide. Okay. Oh, you guys haven't seen my little turntable. And I need 2 claws. So I have 5 D-rings, 1 slider, and 2 claws. All right, that's what I need. That's what I need. And you don't even have to use D-rings. If you wanted, you could also use rectangles instead of D-rings. That's up to you for your bag, especially for the top part that becomes the backpack. I'm actually curious. Oh, yeah. You know what? I'm going to remove a D-ring. Oops, wrong container. I'm going to remove a D-ring and put a rectangle one up there for the backpack part because it fits. It goes through really nicely.
There you go.
Instead of a D-ring.
That's a good idea.
The top of the backpack. Okay, so I got all my hardware out of the way. Got my zipper stuff. All right, here we go. When this is on here, right here, so this is going to get hooked to here. We're going to pre-hook this real quick so that we can get ourselves a number. So let's fold this in half. We're going to find our center. We're going to mark our center. I'm just going to use this pen. Let's see if the pen is even writing on here. So my center is right there on that. Find my center here. This is all measurements that you would get with your own pieces, because this I cannot give you any numbers for. Oh, I can't see that marking. Let's do snips instead. Little tiny snip. I'm not going to see that either. Come on. Find the center of these. Yeah, that's not going to work either.
What about black marker? Is it going to be sewn in that area? Use a black marker. You know, Sharpie?
Yeah, it's going to be sewn, but no, this is fine.
Well, Sharpie would work.
I'm marking my centers right here. Right there, which is within the seam allowance. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pretend for now that this is on here. I'm going to line up the centers. Line up the
Is that
center.
lining canvas?
Yes, the lining is canvas. Where is that? I'm just going to put a clip here. I'm going to do the same thing on this one. We're going to pretend. We're just pretending for now. Center there. Center right there.
Yeah, why don't you just clip the centers? There you go, or pin them.
And we're going to get a measurement here. I'm going to put extra clip here. So you're going to fold your bag up around as if you were going to sew it. Okay? Right here. We're creating the rest of our gusset now. So I'm just clipping it as if I was going to sew it. Just around this curve and up a little bit. So this is how this works. Your numbers are going to be different than my numbers. I'm also going to see how tall it's going to sit, which is actually perfect. Look at that. I like that height. This is how you make up your own bag. It's actually quite fun. quite fun to do.
With the bigger clips?
Nope.
I can pull them out. They're right there.
Nope.
Okay.
I need these because these are less for a 1/4 inch seam.
Ah, okay.
All right, here we go. So I clipped them up high enough so that we can get a good, accurate number here. So here is my spot. See where these land right here? So I'm going to mark where it lands, right there. So if it was sewn, it lands right there, okay? And then this side lands right here. So again, I'm just going to mark it where it's landing, where the end of this is landing at this bag point right here. So I'm marking that. So once we have that marked, here's my markings right here. We're actually going to take a measuring tape, which is the curvy-wurvy kind, you know, one of your clothing measuring tapes, and we're going to measure a 1/4 inch away from that start, because you want to have a seam allowance right here on these. So you're going to measure a 1/4 inch away from that line, and then you're going to go all the way around, and you're going to get that number all the way around, and you're going to go a 1/4 inch beyond your other marking. So right here, I'm at 16 inches, 1/4 inch away on both sides. So I need 16 inches to go from here all the way around, including the seam allowances. So here's my piece right here that I had left over. Okay, I definitely have more than 16 inches available here of my 4.5 inch piece. And what I'm going to do is come out at 16 inches and make a cut. And we're going to prep this whole thing the same as we did with these things, except we're going to put a zipper in the middle. So we're going to come over 15, 16, right here. Just like that. And now I'm going to split this. Oops. Was that 16 inches? Yeah, it just folded funny because I folded it on the fold. There's that. And we need to get 16 inches from our jean fabric. So we're going to find a usable spot on here for 16 inches worth. Do I want that within the zipper? Not really. See, I don't have enough right here on that pant leg. I need another pant leg. It's a good thing I had two.
Good thing pants come with 2 legs, huh?
2 legs on the pants. Oh, I'm not going to get 16 inches from there either. Look at that. Unless I have this in the middle of it.
That might be cool with that in the middle of it.
It might be cool with that in the middle of it.
I think I would use that in the middle.
Oh, that's on the front side, right? No, that's on the back side. So what was it on this one? Yeah. This side had a bigger. That's going to be really hard against that zipper area, though.
The other side had it different. It's not the same.
Not there, not there, not there. I don't want it too thick against my zipper. I have other pant legs, though. I could mix jeans if I want. Let's see what a different pair would look like. Because I need 16 inches worth. All right, here's another pair of pants. Let's see if I have a nice 16-inch piece here. This will match.
Oh, you're going to use 2 different. That'll look very cool.
And look at that. Plenty size.
I like it.
So that's me mixing all my jeans up.
You can call this the El Frankenstein.
All right, so I'm going to use about right here. So I'm going to cut my piece right here. Let's cut this side first. Cut this side second. And then cut the 2 ends off. It's a 4.5-inch piece. So 2 1/4 and 2 1/4 is 4.5, right? Let's make sure, Scotty.
Yes. 2 1/4, 2 1/4, 4.5.
I'm testing you.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to split this exactly in half, 2 1/4 inches. Actually, I'm going to leave it whole for a second. Let's put some interfacing on both these pieces real quick. Leave it whole for a second. Then split it after you put your interfacing on. So I need a 4.5-inch piece of interface. Can you plug the iron in for a minute?
Yep.
Oh, I need 2 pieces because it's 16 inches. Okay. Hopefully you guys are understanding this. I mean, this is going to be such an adorable bag. The other thing that we're going to have to cut is we're going to be binding it too. So we have to cut some binding. And then we also have to make our strap pieces, which here's some more fabric. So I'm going to make it out of this. I want to make it out of jean. I have some pieces right here. I can just use these. Oh yeah, by themselves and let them fray. That would be cool. That's what I'm going to do for the D-rings to zip the, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Next to the zipper, these ones are going to go there, and I'm going to let them fray. I'm going to let them be frayed ones. So we'll cut them down and get them on here. Or I can stitch the edge down like that, but I think I'm going to be the frayed idea for those. And then I need, for the backpack part, I need some more jean for that. Because we need the hooks for the backpack. But we'll get those in a second. Let me get this stuff on here real quick. I'm interfacing these 2 pieces real quick. And then we're going to split them directly in half. Hopefully you guys are understanding what I'm doing here. I'm kind of all over the place, but I'm doing it in order, so if you guys have questions, ask Scott to ask me. All right. All right, so we're going to split these in half, 2 1/4, and we're going to be sewing zipper in between the 2. So I'm going to go ahead and measure out how much zipper I need, which is 16-ish inches. I cut it a little bit bigger than it needs to be. Obviously, I always cut it bigger than it needs to be.
Better to have too much than enough, right?
Yep. Well, that's because I'm going to sew it on there. Let's cut this in half real quick. 2 1/4 right here. I just love making bags up as I go. The bag thing, I always just make them up. It's really hard to tell you guys how to do something sometimes because I'm like, I just made that up. How am I supposed to show them that? All right. We're going to put this one and this one together on one side of the zipper, and this one and this one together on the other side of the zipper. But we are also going to be using, because this isn't a lot of layers right here with the zipper, we're also going to just use the Juki right here for that. But what I need, what I really, really need, is to put the zipper head on it. Where did it go? Right there. Come on. Really? This is gonna, there we go. We're gonna put the zipper head on here, a little bit here, a little bit there.
Yep, you showed that yesterday.
Hold it, slide it on. There we go. All right, so now that I have that on there, I'm going to go ahead and this is the outside, which is the jean. Okay, that is going to go right here. I'm going to clip that on, right sides together with the zippers, so that way when you pull it out like this, the jean is on the outside of the bag, visible with the zipper. That's how you know it's the correct direction. So I'm going to go ahead and clip this in place. And then we're going to turn it to the other side and put right sides together, making a sandwich of the lining. Just like this. Dang it. This, that, and that. And now I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch seam all the way down this using my machine right here. I'm going to watch out for my zipper head. I'm also going to change my stitch length. Move that zipper head out of the way. All right. So I have that sewn on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press this back. Nicely press it back. But before I top stitch it, I'm actually going to insert some batting. You're like, what? Well, we want the top of the bag to be stiff too, and I don't have any other way but to add batting. So I'm going to press this real quick. Yeah, it's a nylon zipper. Oh, yeah, you just iron right over the zipper. Just be careful of the zipper head. I don't go like too crazy on it. I put the iron to the side of it. I don't put it directly on top. But so before I top stitch this down across the top, I'm going to insert a piece of batting in there. Just a scrap piece of batting. Because I want it to have some kind of body, and I'm not using a thick enough interfacing for all this. So I definitely want to use, you know, things that'll make it stiffer. It was loose on our bottom, but definitely needs to be tight on our back. All right, so I'm just going to cut a skinny piece that's like 2 inches.
That's why you save everything, because you use everything. That
Just
little piece of batting came in handy.
Slide this in here. I'm going to butt right up to that seam. Just like that. And I'm going to top stitch this over at the other machine. So that way I can have a double stitch. I'm going to do 1 stitch 1/8 of an inch from the edge and then a second stitch away from that. But before I go over to that machine, I'm going to actually have both sides prepped because it's easier that way. But just know that that's where it's going. So I'm going to do it this side. I'm going to line it up exactly side to side. Reclip it. It's right sides together with the zipper. Just like that. And then I'm going to put it on the other side. Right sides together with my lining. And just reclip it. I'm going to sew it on this machine, put my batting in the middle, and then take it to the other machine and do a beautiful top stitch. So for now, I'm just doing it on this machine first.
Can I move the camera?
Nah, it's fine. Oh. Oops, I got to move it.
Like a half foot sideways? That's what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Just sewing a 1/4 inch seam.
And they can see
Okay.
Okay, they can still see the table in the sewing.
Okay, so I'm going to press that back now.
I'll do all that.
Okay, so I'm going to take this to the iron and I'm going to press it back. Okay, on both sides, and then I'm going to cut my piece of batting and put it in between. And then we'll sew over at the other machine with a nice, beautiful top stitch with all these layers. I'm just pressing real quick. We're going to cut that piece of batting that's going to go in there. I'm just letting it hang over. It's no big deal. Because I'm going to trim it up anyway. Just going to lay this in here. I'm going to take it over to the other machine and then do my top stitch. Let's put it right up nicely to it. Let's make sure this one doesn't move either. I keep knocking these out and like throwing them back in. I'm going to make sure that the batting don't go anywhere between here and the other machine. For some nice jean-like top stitching with a double stitch. Why? Because I think it looks cool. All right, so I'm going to go top stitch 1/8 of an inch away and then away from that a little bit. So let's go over to the other machine. Very carefully, like. Here we are. Again, sorry for the camera moving. I cannot control that. There's no, yeah. All right. Go ahead and line this up for my top stitch. All right. Very carefully stitch. Put the zipper on the other side. Now take my second stitch right here. Very nicely. Really don't need to move the zipper head this time. All right, now let's do this way. Stitch against the edge first with my 1/8 of an inch top stitch. Move my zipper out of the way. And now I'm going to do a second stitch away from that. And it'll look like jeans, but it'll also be thick and sturdy. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stitch to the edge, and I'm going to stitch along the edge of this real quick to seal this up. That way it's closed before we actually get to it. I'm going to cross over the zipper, sealing this little area off. And seal this side shut too. That way everything stays nice before we sew. Because I'm going to trim it all down to size and it's going to be nice and equal. And I'm not crossing the zipper on this side because I need to open it a little bit so that way it can be equaled out. Just going to quickly close it now. There we go. All right, I'm going to go back to this side. And we're going to snip this down to size. And then we're going to make our other stuff real quick, all of our other components now, and sew those on. All right. I'm going to straighten up this side right here. I have a stitch keeping that closed. Just going to go ahead and straighten it up now. My whole entire unit should still be 16 inches. I didn't shift it really. All right, I'm going to trim this side nice and straight. I'm going to check to see. Still 16 inches. Look at that. 16 inches. Maybe even a smidge longer. Straighten that up just a little bit more. There we go. Now we need to make, I need to make this 4.5 inches. I need to trim it down to 4.5 inches. I'm going to try not to get my stitch line, but it's probably going to cross over it. Yeah, oh well, that's fine. It's got it somewhat on there. All right, so this is 4.5 inches because that's how wide the rest of our unit is. You can see I'm trying to make sure that the ruler stays flat while I do this. We also need to make some binding pieces, but first let's start with our little clamps. So this one I'm just going to leave as funky wide as it is. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to let it hang over the edge. I'm literally just going to put these D-rings. No, I can't do that either. I want to put these D-rings on here and let this be raw. But I probably should put a stitch across there just to make sure that it stays nice. I want these to stay raw though. I think it will look cool because of the funkiness of these jeans. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch a stitch right here next to this and a stitch right here next to that, but I'll do that in a minute over at the other machine because I want it to be that color thread. So I know these are the pieces that are going to go right here to turn it into our crossbody part. You can see it's already starting to fray, and we want that. I think it will look really cool. Now we want our backpack strap pieces. So now let's make those out of jean as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab this bottom piece. Let's take this bottom off of there. And your pieces need to be 4 inches. I'm going to go 4 inches over. This should be long enough right here. So here's my 4-inch piece I'm going to be chopping this off. It's going to be enough for for the bottom pieces, I mean, not two sides. So it's 4 by 7 inches right now. But we're going to be cutting it in half anyway because we're only using half for one side, half for the other, but we're going to leave it whole. And then we need a top one as well. So I'm going to cut another 4-inch piece off of here. And this will be for the top. This one doesn't need to be as wide, but we're going to cut it 4 by 4. Okay, so it's a 4 by 4 and then a 4 by 7. But this one's going to be split, and this one's going to be for the top for our square piece. And then we'll have D-ring ones for the bottom where the hooks come out. And the only other thing that we need to cut is for our strap. We need to make that, but we can make that last. Let's get all these pieces together. We do need to cut binding, though. So the first thing I need to do now is put some interfacing on these pieces, but I'm going to fold them in half. I'm going to find my center with the iron, and then I'm going to fold the 2 pieces into the center, and I'm going to fold it over. It's going to be really thick. This one's going to be super thick. I'm going to use these pieces for inside of this one. This will be for the top portion. Holding these. And again, I'm going to use the other machine. I'm going to just prep it all. Actually, I don't even need to put interfacing in here. Look at how thick this is. I'm not even going to interface these. This should be nice and thick for this right here. So I'm going to top stitch this, both sides over on that machine, but that's for that D-ring. And then this one, I'm going to do the same exact thing. It's going to be thick enough. So I'm going to go ahead and just fold it. I'm not even going to interface them. So you can do that on yours if you need to, if you're using regular fabric, but I'm not. So I'm just making 1 inch wide hooks. This is where having the big machine is going to help because this is a lot of jean to sew through. Do this real quick. All right. So you can see now I need a top stitch here, here, on both sides of this. I'm also going to put a stitch right here on this one because these are going to be my little pieces that go between there. And what else do I need to stitch? That's it. So I'm going to take these over the other machine real quick. I'm just going to leave you guys right here because that's a lot of back and forth. I'm just running over here real quick to top stitch. Shouldn't take very long. Should only take a minute. Just one. Slide this one in right after. I'm just chain piecing. Hold it around, stitch the other side. No, just leave it. Okay. You can just show them that these two sides are stitched, and I'm going to cross over this real quick. Really close, but I'm going to leave these raw because I think that would be cool. I'm going to go right next to. And then I'll come down, second stitch on that, make it look really cool. There's one. And then let's do this one, number 2. Butt right up to that. Below it.
Check on this?
Yep.
Huh?
Yeah. All right, Scotty's just showing you the pieces. So again, I just left those raw edge. I kind of think it looks really awesome raw edge, you know.
I'll be Vanna White for you.
All right, so those are those pieces. I'm going to split this directly in half now. This is my D-ring pieces for the bottom of the bag. So they're split in half, and they are going to get a D-ring, and I'm going to actually take these over to the other machine because I need to top stitch 8 layers of that. This is for the backpack part of the bag. There's going to be 8 layers of jean here. Like I could have done the raw edge thing with this. I probably should have. But I'm going to go ahead and stitch right next to my D-ring on this and on this. And then I also am going to put this one right here and sew through all those layers right here so that it holds this clip. This is the top part of the backpack, and this is the bottom. Here we go with sewing so many layers, as many layers as I possibly can sew today.
You might want to see that.
Turn the camera then.
Okay, well that's what I'm getting at.
Oh,
Let them know it's moving. Look at that.
this is where the walking foot machine comes in handy, you know. All right, so I'm going to hold this thingy out of the way because I don't want to hit that, but I definitely want to put my needle in right there, and I'm stitching on I'm just stitching across it from one side to the other. Now I'm going to stitch down the side. It's doing that thing because I don't have a foot lifter thingy. Turn it this way, go across the bottom so it's nice and tight. And stitch down this side right here. Just to the part where I started. Well, that's a whole heck of a lot of layers to sew through, but this one sews through it like butter. The other Juki probably would have given me trouble.
It's a beast.
Yeah, this machine does it like butter. So I just kind of made around that so you can see I smushed all that down. That way when I go to sew the pieces onto the bag, it's not that bad when I go to bind it because I have to put binding on it. All right, so I'm going to drop my needle down right there. Forward and back stitch. Come across. Go down here very carefully. One stitch. Turn it. Go across this bottom and smush it all down. And turn it and go up this side. Let's get rid of that thread real quick though. All right, number 2 done. I'm really like putting a lot of work into today's project. But it's actually going faster than the other day.
Yeah, you're an hour and 40 minutes. The other day took you all day.
Yeah. All right, here we go. One more. Just putting that down. I'm going to drop my needle in there. Keeping the needle down, going down the side. I just pull on the D-ring is how I'm getting that to go across. I know some people like say that, you know, you need to have that foot lift thing. Well, I just pull on the D-ring and it yanks it up. Back stitch and pull it away. All of my lovely threads here. All right, all my pieces are ready. How is that one way longer than that one? I don't know. Maybe because that was supposed to have that. I don't know. I'm going to cut them then. This one is not supposed to be that long. It's supposed to be that long.
What stitch length are you using to sew?
I am.
The top stitch length different.
I'm actually sewing with a 3.5, really tight stitch length on here. When I'm top stitching on some of the stuff, though, I was changing it to a 4. I'm not used to that with this machine because the stitch lengths, it's different for different fabrics, and I'm not used to that yet with sewing with this machine. Okay, all of my pieces are ready.
What thread weight does that Juki use?
This uses whatever bag thread weight, so I think it's 60s.
Yeah, that one's 60, right?
Yeah, 60. No, this is a Tex 90. So this one, I'm
90.
using Tex 90. That's really thick thread. Look, you can see how thick it is. I'm using Tex 90, but it also sews with 60 because this one is, and it's Tex 60. So it's a little bit smaller. I have tons of different ones that are tons of different. I think this one is a 40. No, this one's a 30. So some of them are different, but today I'm using 90, which is pretty darn thick. All right. My faux. Okay, I got to go over here so that we can show you guys this. Camera's moving. There we go. Sorry, I meant to say it beforehand. All right, so here's my backpack bottom pieces. Here's my side. These are going to go over here onto this, and I'm going to get them pretty close. So those are going to sit right there, okay? And these are going to go when we hook. We're going to remove all this off here now because for now it's not needed because I need to sew all these pieces together. So this was just holding our bag temporarily to get the measurements that we needed. Now that we got all the numbers, we need the pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and Each one of these is going to get hooked in between here, right sides together. Okay, and this is going to get stitched across this. And then this one is going to go on this side, right sides together. But before I stitch those, we need to cut some binding pieces because this whole thing is going to get hooked together with binding.
What training do you have, or is it all hands-on?
This is all hands-on. I'm all hands-on, no training at all in bag making. I didn't even want to be a bag maker. I wanted to be a quilter, but then I kept seeing bags all over the internet, and I'm like, oh, I want to make something like that. I want to make something like that. And I kept saying it to myself, and so eventually I just ended up making bags. So now I make lots of bags.
Well, you still do quilts, too.
And I still make quilts. I do everything I love to do. All right, so those are going to go there. I'm going to go ahead and clip it right sides together. And when I mean right sides together, I'm talking the jean sides, the outside of the bag. I'm going to turn this around. We're going to clip this. Jean side to jean side. I don't want that D-ring thing to go anywhere. So my D-ring is way out of the way. So those we're going to stitch, but we're going to make some binding. Oh, here's a perfect piece right here. So we just need to cut off some binding right here. So 1 3/4 inch. 1 3/4 inch. 1 3/4 inch. We're going to cut 2 pieces off to start. And that's for this. We're going to bind this piece right here. So these are going to go to the other machine, and I'll show you how to do that in 2 seconds. And now we're going to make these pieces. All right. So again, the pocket is the front of the bag. I use the butt pocket for the front of the bag. So that means this is the back of the bag, which also has a slip pocket on the inside of the bag. I'm going to take my one that has, sorry about that, the one that has my rectangle hook. That one is going to go in the center, and I am just going to eyeball the center. I'm really good at this whole eyeballing thing, but if you want to match and find your center, you would just fold it in half. And as you can see, mine is landing perfectly in the center. So we're going to go ahead and put that there. I want a little bit of hanging there. That's why I'm leaving mine hanging out. And then we're going to go with our bottoms, which are going to fold this up and see where it lands about right here. So I'm folded exactly in half. I'm going to tell you right now, just because you're going to want to know. I'm going to come up about 2.5 inches. And then that's where I'm going to put my D-ring. So 2.5 inches up. And I'm going to angle it just ever so slightly. Let's make sure it's 2.5 inches up. I'm angling it slightly because it's for the backpack. So it's just slightly angled, and I'm going to go ahead and clip that in place. It's a really thick one. And then we're going to do the same by going to the other side, folding it in half. 2.5 inches up from the bottom. And grab that bottom, put it right there. Do what?
Use the bigger clips if it's too thick.
Yeah. And I don't want my D-rings in the way of my seams, so yeah, we're going to put big clips on this.
Use the bigger clips if it's too thick.
Right here. And let's put that guy on there. All right, so my clips are holding those in place. I definitely want to change the position. They don't look equal. Oh yeah, they're definitely not equal. This guy needs to come up. This guy needs to come down. That looks good now, right there. That's nice and straight. I'm using the sides of this as a guide. Seems pretty straight right there. And right there. Okay. So these are going to get stitched on real quick. Then we're going to stitch this on with the binding, but we're going to cut the binding for the rest of the bag because we're almost ready to put it together. And the only thing we'll have to do is make a strap, which I can either do that in the video or do that off camera because I have a video on making strap, I think. All right, so I'm going to cut, shoot, my binding needs to be really, really long. Hold on, let's do a measurement here.
Is 2.5 standard for strap from the bottom of the bag?
No, we want it to land. The reason why I'm doing that is because this is 4 inches at the bottom. I want it to land above it. If you put it any lower, you're going to have a problem, and then it's going to sit too low and it come out underneath. because I could have done sideways ones, but I didn't with this bag. So I could have had a big triangle right here, but I'm not used to doing that yet. So we're just doing these kind and stitching them down. All right. We need to get a number here because the binding is going to go all the way around. So we're just going to use this line as our start guide. I'm going to come around.
You want me to hold that?
Nope, because I know where I'm started from.
Okay.
We need to be able to bind around the whole entire thing. So I think I'm going to need about
We're going to need more than that.
2 strips. Yep. Because that's 59 inches. I need 2 strips off of this that are 1 3/4 inch. And I'm not interfacing the binding part. You don't need to interface the binding part. 1 3/4 inch. So I'm going to cut 2 1 3/4 inch strips and we're going to connect them together because it's binding. And I guess while I'm here, I'm going to cut my strips for the strap. So I'm going to cut a 4-inch strip for my strap. I'm going to cut 2 of them, actually. 2 4-inch strips for my strap. And we're going to connect those together as well. So over here at this machine, we're just going to connect them on the diagonal, same as you would with any other binding. So I'm going to have the one piece face down like this. Right sides together, but on the diagonal, and so from a corner to a corner. I'm going to do the same with my binding, or my strap. So one's facing down, the other one's going to go right sides together with it. Just going to line it up nicely. And so from one corner to the next on the diagonal. And then I'm going to cut this away. And I'm going to make my, since this is a backpack convertible, so it's a convertible backpack or crossbody bag, I'm going to make my strap about 68-ish inches. 68 inches. But here we go. I got to do this. I'm talking about 2 things at the same time. Probably confusing half of you. So this is the binding right here for the bag itself. So this I'm just going to set aside. I'm pretty sure this is plenty. Let's make sure. Oh yeah, plenty. All right, so that we need. And then we're going to work on the strap at the same exact time, I guess. So with the strap, it's just like any bag strap. Once I get my 60-something inches, I need about 68 to 70, somewhere around there. So that would be 30, 66. So let's go about right here. 34, 30. There we go. 68. So I'm going to cut this at 68 inches. Ta-da! Now all we need to do is press this seam. We're going to fold this in half, and then we're going to fold the halves into each other. But I'm also going to interface this whole entire thing. So we need to cut a bunch of interfacing again. Because we keep going back to it. We need some almost 2-inch strips. I literally go right at 2-inch. Like right before it. Not even the 1/8 of an inch mark. I just need room for it to fold. So I literally am cutting almost 2-inch strips. I'm just slightly veering away because I want them to land within the fold space once you fold your strap. I need 20, 40, 60. I'm counting. That's how many strips I know I need. One more. even though it makes 80, but I will cut it to the size I need.
You need me to buy you more interfacing?
Yes.
I have another one.
No, we need more of this kind, yes.
That's
Yeah.
the one turn 11.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to take this and my strip. I'm going to show you guys how to do this, I guess, right here. Let me grab an ironing board and the iron so that I can show you guys how the strap is made.
I'm still on here.
All right, we have an iron. We have some strap. We're going to start by pressing this seam open right here. I probably should have paid better attention to line this seam up.
Is it SF101 or is it the 911?
This is 911. So this is FFW 911, FFW, fusible featherweight. All right, once you have your seam pressed, you're going to go to one end, you're going to fold it in half, whole entire thing, as if you're making binding. This is how you make a bag strap. I'm just going to fold it in half all the way down.
So we're at $20. So I'll buy you a bunch from the guy.
Okay.
3 of them?
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Yep.
I'll give that page over.
All right. So just pressing it in half all the way down. And then we're going to fold the sides in. You can see I'm lining up my stripe to make sure that this doesn't shift at all. That's how I'm keeping it.
You need a granola bar or anything? You got me a street now?
I'm good for now.
Anything to eat?
No,
Juice?
my ankle still hurts.
Juice, water?
No.
Okay.
All right, and then I'm going to go back to the beginning again, and we're going to fold the half, or the sides, into the half, like this. So this is how you make a bag strap. So I'm literally folding the sides now to the center, or almost to it. I'm not exactly to it. I'm going to do both sides at the same time, or at least attempt it. Just like this, using the iron. Everything's nice and flat. Slide it down, do some more. We're trying to get all this stuff prepped so we could take it all to the machine at one time. So I'm going to sew all this over on the other machine. Slide it some more. Again, I'm just folding one side in, and I'm folding the other, trying to do them at the same time, but it's not working very well without burning my fingers. So I do this when I make cotton bag straps as well. Some people put the interfacing in first. I put it in second. So I do this whole part first, and then I put the interfacing in. Because I never get it equal into the center unless I have markings. And this creates the markings. Doing it like this. So you can see it's not quite touching the center, and that allows me to be able to fold it and have like a little bit of wiggle room is what I call it. So now let's put the interfacing in here. Just going to put it lines right up in between those two markings. See, and it fits in there perfectly. Oh, we're making a strap. So honestly, I need to fold this end up right here because we're making a strap. I'm folding one end in about, I don't know, half an inch almost. Okay, just gonna glue this in real quick. Just make sure it's folded down. Just re-go over it with the iron. Slide it down, do some more. Slide it down, do some more. I'm also making sure that that stays folded in. There we go. We're just going to butt that next piece up to it, pokey side down, which is what I mean by the interfacing glue is facing the outside. Slide this in and glue it in. Like I said, just needs a couple seconds. I'm going to line up the next one. Once all these parts are together, the last of all this should go together pretty quick.
I like the stripes.
I like using stripes for, well, I like using stripes for binding. I like using stripes for the bags, especially when they line up. It always looks really cool when they line up. Like my seam didn't line up too well right there, but hey, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to fold this in about 1/2 inch.
The rest of it lined up.
And then I'm going to grab a piece that's this length, cut it to size, right about here. Butt them up to each other, close this up, and glue it down. See how simple that is? And now with that little gap that we left, we will be allowed to nicely close the ends. Close this in half without it being messed up. You know, having like a wrinkle in the middle of it. All right. So the last thing I do is just fold it the rest of the way half and press it. Give it that crease and then we'll stitch it up. So everything is ready to be stitched, I think, now. Bag is ready to be assembled. So it wasn't that much prep work. How long did that take so far?
2 hours.
So 2 hours of prep work. And then the rest of the time it's just the assembly. So everything is ready. Everything is made. Just have to do some final stuff. All right. Let that cool down over there. Oh man, did I break another nail? Every day I'm breaking a nail. All right, I'm going to take all this stuff over there to sew. And I'm going to take my little bag pieces and everything. And we're going to go over there and start sewing. So here, the camera is moving now. Let's go over to this machine. There. Grab my stuff. Oh, we're going to need clips over here too. First thing I'm going to do is sew my strap because I literally have the piece right here. All right. I'm going to go ahead and sew my strap. So I'm going to start by sewing 1/8 of an inch. All right, here, drop my needle right there, and stitch all the way down the one side. I'm not used to the speed of this machine with strap sewing yet, so I'm not going as fast as I do with my other Juki. But I'm getting there. So right down to here, put my needle down, one more stitch right there. Perfect. Pivot. Perfect. Right there is good. Pivot. And go down this side. So you can see it's a nice, lovely stitch. so far. Oh, I tangled. Am I out of bobbin? That's what's happening here. Something happened. Yep, out of bobbin. No. Yep, out of bobbin. I knew that's what it was. Yeah, I keep saying yes, no, yes, no. I heard that sound. It sounded like the bobbin was spinning. All right, let me put in another bobbin real quick. I've noticed with this 90 weight thread that I go through a lot of bobbins. Open that up so I could see where I'm going. Pull that thread up. I'm going to go to where I ended so that I can back stitch. And then continue on. And I'll just cut all that thread. Right there. Right there. Right there. Go ahead and get rid of these tails and then come up to it. And then we'll put the strap together as well, because we're right here anyway. All right. So while we're right here, let's put this strap together. So I'm going to find an end. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the slided ring, and I'm actually going to come around it. So I'm going to go in one side through to the other side of that. So it's in the middle. You can see like that. And I'm going to go ahead and make a little square right here to seal this side off. Holding it down. So I'm going to just there we go. Making a 1-inch square about right here.
Which machine do you like to sew with the most?
I like my Juki Teal 2010Q. That's my everyday machine. This machine is my new for bag making. I don't make bags every day. I make bags, I don't know, maybe once a week, sometimes once every other week or so. And one more stitch this way. All right. Snip that away. So I made a square right here at the end. So you can see it's sealed. Now I'm going to keep, this is the part that everybody gets confused at with bags and the straps. I'm going to put that piece that I just sewn on my hand. So that piece is on the bottom and the rest of this unit faces up. I'm going to come down, holding it nice and flat to the other side. So I'm keeping it flat with that piece facing down all the way. And I'm going to put one of these facing up right here, my lobster claw clamp, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to slide it on there. So now it's in half, you can see right here. And I'm going to come, slide it down. I'm going to come to right here, and I'm going to stick my end in one side, and then through the other side, this. And you can see now inside of there is enclosing the part that you sewed on. So that way it's hidden. Then you're just going to slide it on there like this. So you can see it's correct, the correct direction. I got some shredding pieces going on. Anyway, where was I? So you can see that's the correct direction. So all I need to do now is add the opposite side, wherever it is in my pile here. And that's going to go facing up, fold that under, line it up, and sew an inch square. So that's how the strap's done. Here, let me go back real quick so that way you guys can understand this. Just because some people really struggle with the straps. Make sure that I'm, telling you guys really good in this video. So I'm just going to pull that off of there so you can see again. All right, so we sewed this on to the end, right? Just like this. We're going to leave this part, that's the underside, like this. We're going to take the whole entire unit to the other side. So I'm keeping it flat this direction. We're going to put a lobster claw facing up. We're going to come down, bring it through, and it's coming underneath like this. While it's under here, you're going to go through one side, which is coming up on that bottom side, hiding that piece. Slide your thing, put it through the other side of this. And once it's sliding, you can see that you have it correct right here on your slider. You can see that I actually have that fold hidden behind there in the middle. And then you just go to your other side and find your, wherever I threw it right here, put another one on here. It's facing up, fold it over, and then stitch your 1 inch square. So that wasn't that hard, right? Hopefully you guys understood. Drop my needle here, back stitch. Making a square right here. And I'm also like stitching a lot. This way. Get rid of that. Okay, and then snip my threads, and my strap is complete. So one thing done, the strap. Now let's finish assembling our bag. All right, strap is done. So I'm just going to place that aside because we don't need it right now. Oops. Sumper's right down here. You guys see he's on my Juki thing. All right, we're going to go ahead and take our little binding piece. We're going to lay that on here, and we're going to sew this. We're going to make sure that D-ring is completely out of the way. Definitely don't want that in the way. And we're going to sew a 1/4 inch seam right here now, sewing this on. Remember, we made an allowance for that 1/4 inch seam. All right. Snipping all these threads. I'm going to go ahead and just leave my binding on here loose for a second, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch my other side on here. So I'm going to put that binding on here. I'm also going to make sure that the D-ring is completely out of the way. We definitely don't want to like hit that. I'm going to line this binding piece up with it right here, and I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch seam. So this is this whole entire gusset being assembled now. So the gusset pieces now. All right, what we need to do now is we're going to roll this binding piece over, fold it into itself, and then over. And we're just going to go ahead and stitch in the ditch on the other side. So I'm just going to stitch in the ditch because I want to stay with my 1/4 inch, hooking the binding on here. All right. So my binding is attached. It's fully attached right there. We're going to repeat that on the other side. So I'm just folding it up to the thing, not underneath it. I'm not going into it. I'm just folding it right up to it right here because it's a 1 3/4 inch binding. So we definitely want it to fit. Just going to turn it around and stitch in the ditch. Because I want to keep that 1/4 inch seam. All right, this is where having a nice thick machine is going to work. Or sewing through thick stuff. We're going to go ahead now and sew on our strap pieces. So there, we're going to grab this off of here and I'm going to lift my needle and I'm going to sew this on here. There's a lot of layers. I am back stitching a bazillion times. I'm dropping my stuff in this trash can because it's so close. So you're going to have to fish out my clips or whatever's landing in it. I don't know. All right, there's that one on there, and I have to snip away this equal with the bag. Oh, that's a lot to cut through, and that just went flying as well. That right there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go to the other side, or at least the top right here, and we're going to put this strap hook on here. I'm stitching, back stitching a bazillion times because it's so thick. And there we go. So that one's now on. And one more left to hook on here. Again, it's a lot of stitching. You need to have a machine that'll stitch through that many layers. That's a lot of layers. And I'm going to go ahead and snip the side of this off of here. Just like that. So now it's all flush. Look at that. I'm also going to add a really quick stitch right here and right here to hold these on here. I know you guys are like, why are you doing that? But I want it to stay down, and that's the spot that I can add some stitching. So I'm just going to go right here to right there and stop. So it's keeping my bag's thing right there. I'm going to go ahead and repeat that on this one right here. That way it's not sticking out like this. You get where I'm going here? I'm going to do this one. Let's stick that down. Right there. So it's nicely down. I'm going to get rid of all these extra threads because now there's a bazillion of them. And then we're going to grab some clips and hook this whole thing together. All right. Here we have our bottom. I'm going to go ahead and remember we marked our center. Our center marks should still be there. I don't see that one anymore. Oh, there it is right there. So my center is lined up with my center. We're going to stick this on this side of things. And I need all of my clips.
You want them all back? I can hand them all back to you.
Okay. We're going to go ahead now and we're literally going to walk this around. I need a ton. I need the whole thing.
Oh, okay. There you
go. We're going to walk this around to the other side like this. I'm just going to line it up, clip it, line it up, clip it. It's going to take a lot of clips here. And if I keep throwing it, I keep losing them all. This binding piece is going to fold downward. Right there. Keep going around the top curve. We literally should be meeting up with the middle of the zipper area. It should all land perfectly all the way to the other side. And if not, we'll adjust. I'm just clipping it. It's easier for me to clip like on my own lap. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, if you are doing this on a domestic, you need to sew as slow as possible with a jean needle because this is so thick. We've got batting in here. We got interfacing in here. This is going to face down, by the way. We've got canvas and jean, you know, so there's a lot of layers here. All right, we're going to curve around this side now. Should be landing. Let's see if our mark is still here and our mark is still there. Are they matching up? Where's that mark? Right there. Oh, it didn't match up. So I'm going to adjust it a little bit. Just a little. I should have matched my markings first. It'd probably be the smartest idea is to match your markings first, but I'll adjust. Like I said, it's not that hard. So let's clip this side and see. I never said this is a foolproof thing here. This is why we clip first. We're clipping the whole entire bag all the way around. Because we're going to be sewing it all the way around. So we need to clip it all the way around. Let's make sure all this lines up. Whoo-wee, look at all those layers. That's going to be so chunky right there. Right here, where that comes out. Woo-wee. That's going to be hard as heck to get around. If we back it up a little bit, it might be easier for them to see. I have to adjust it just a little bit all the way around. Come on, right there. Right there. Where did I have to do the adjustment? Right here. Yes, they go flying, Scotty, every time I unclip it.
I have no idea where it was.
It's under the chair. I could see it. It's pink.
Oh, I got it.
So I'm just literally sliding these around just a little bit. Just to get all these layers together. All right. Just reclipping it. This is all curves. Once we get to this whole thing is curved on. Even the binding will be curved. So just beware if you're not used to it. We're going to be stitching around this whole entire thing from one side all the way around to the other, which is what we're going to do right now. Here we go. With a 1/4 inch seam, I'm going to do my best to keep this 1/4 inch seam, but I never get it right. I'm just going to push this down. None of my D-rings are in the way. We're going to make sure of that. Everything's completely out of the way. We're going to go ahead now and start right here. And I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch seam. Like I said, I'm trying to get used to this 1/4 inch seam on here. I'm going to go all the way around, right back to this starting point. And I'm going to do this slowly, all the way. And this is a lot of layers, and it's going through them. Here we go, slowly around. My zipper is open, so I can make sure everything stays lined up and flat. Moving things out of the way as you go. Same as my mini backpack, if you guys need a, it's the same as that. This is definitely not for people with arthritic hands, and I have arthritic hands, and this is a lot of work here. But if you've made bags before, you know how hard it is. Imagine if I would have used vinyl too. Ooh wee. No, you're fine. Here we go. We're coming up to where we're going to go around this curve down here. So I'm just making sure everything's staying flat as I go up to it. Keeping my 1/4" seam as best as I can. I'm going to start tipping this up. Just walk it into there. Because we're going to be switching direction, coming around it. We're going to be doing this again when we get to the binding part too, so just make sure that you're ready for that. Here I'm coming across where my back straps are now. That's so thick. Go very slow. I'm going to actually double stitch right there because I really want that to be good. 1/4" seam. Now I'm going to go around the front half. Very carefully, like. Here we go. Flattening it all out. Coming up to super thickness again. Yes. What?
The black and white fabric is canvas.
Yeah, the black and white fabric is a canvas. It's not the best canvas you can buy, but it's canvas. I don't have very many choices. I haven't ordered any like linings for bags yet. And I was at Walmart the other day. I could have bought some, but I didn't because I was just wanted to get out of the store, honestly. I don't have any machine. Well, I have a machine in the garage. It's in a box. It's old and broken. None that I use. Yeah. Everything is in the house. Long arm and all. Okay, so I'm coming up to where my D-ring is. Again, I'm making sure that's a lot of layers right there. I'm going to go nicely over it. Back stitching too because, you know, I want it to be as flat as possible. There's a lot of rotating involved in going around this gusset curve.
That's what a gusset is?
Yes.
I've heard that word many times. I didn't know what it was.
You can see I'm adjusting quite a bit. Making sure. All right, we're almost to the other side where we started. And then we still got to go around it one more time. Because we have to do the binding, actually 2 more times. All right, so here I am at the beginning. Come on, get off of there, you thread. There we go. Go ahead and snip my threads. But before I bind, oops, it didn't land in the trash can. Before I bind it, I'm going to turn it to the other side. You can see it needs binding still, obviously, so it's cleaned up. But we're going to turn it right side out real quick and make sure that everything looks good before we put the binding on. So we're just going to pull it all through.
So far, it looks awesome to me.
So you can see the bottom is rounded, just like it's supposed to be. Rounded bottom, comes up to the top. Look at that. Those are already starting to fray. Let's push that out better. The binding is going to make it stiffer, by the way, when we put that on. But here's the top hook for the backpack section. The 2 sides come out where they're supposed to come out. Look at that. They're held down, so they're not going to go anywhere. So this is my so far bag. I got to put the binding on it real quick, though. But so far, everything landed where it was supposed to. No puckers, pleats. It's all good. Look at that. All right. Turn it back around and do the final part. That same thing we just did, except now we're attaching binding. So we're literally going to go around the whole entire thing twice. So this is the part that I told you guys the other day in Sunday's video that, or was it last, whatever day I told you guys about the sewing the binding around this. It is a little bit harder to do. But once you do it once, you can do it again and again and again. We're going to start by going to one end. I'm going to get rid of that selvage. Oops. Okay, this is how the binding is going to go on. Fold one side over, just like this. And I'm going to put this on here, just like any binding. I'm going to lay it on, and I'm going to stitch this on with my 1/4 inch seam. This I can go a little bit faster. I got that one side folded though. Just going to sew this on. Bang out of it again. No, I'm not. Okay. We're just going to sew this on, going around the curves. Just bend and fold things, just adjust and move. Quarter inch seam. But this time I'm not like back stitching or anything on anywhere, just sewing it on. There's a lot of layers to go through now though. This is where I said having an industrial is probably better for this process. Just going to continue going around. Keep your fingers out of the way. Don't hurt yourself like I almost just did. Hit my finger funny. Flattening as I go, and we're going to come up to this curve. Are you kidding me? Sorry, I have to hand walk this one. It's like too many layers. There we go. So I'm just curving it around here. Curving it around. Where'd my water go?
Let me get you.
Oh, I got it. Sorry, I'm like gone over the 2-hour mark with video today, but I didn't think through the length of time that it does take.
Okay. The other day, you did this.
I took longer though. My last bag. I was just saying I took longer on my last bag.
You done with the iron?
Oh yes, turn the iron off. Completely done with it now. All right, keeping everything out of the way. Keep going. I have my seam. I didn't even press that. I'm just going to push it to one side because it really doesn't matter. Still have a little bit more to go on here. I have no idea what that sound is. Something's
squeak.
No, this is making a sound. Okay, now I gotta go around this one. Adjust and sew, adjust and sew. That's pretty much what this is. Making sure I'm flattening everything out. You could have attached the binding when you put the bag together if you wanted to, but I find that a little harder because now I've done a lot of bags with this binding in it. And I've had more struggles putting it on at the same time as the bag than I do without. So here I'm coming around the corner to my last side right here. I'm literally just going to cut this about an inch away from where it started. See? And it's just going to sit inside there. So I'm literally going to sew right up to it. If I can sew right up to it. I need to fix right here real quick. I didn't want to go because of the right there. I don't know what that is. It's my walking foot thing. That's what's making that noise. All right, now to fold the binding to the other side. This is where it's very simple. You just fold it around and top stitch. I'm not even going to stitch in the ditch. I'm just going to fold it around and top stitch. But I'm going to clean a lot of this up real quick because there's a mess of just shredding and thread and everything. Just going to fold it and top stitch. Most of this I can pluck away after the fact. So I'm going to start right here. I'm just going to fold and top stitch. Folding it over on itself and then over itself. We're going to go through and pull threads away after the fact because I don't really want to do all that right now. I'm just folding it up to it. So you fold the binding up to it and then you go over it like that. And then you just top stitch it on there. And it stretches around that curve pretty good. Pretty nicely. I probably could have stitched in the ditch from the other direction, but I'm just going this direction because I'm already sewing it. Folding in and over. Probably no worse than a bag that you would find at Ross, because I looked at the stitching on those when I was getting the ideas for making bags.
Well, shoot, the 99-cent store had bags that were junkier that was even more expensive.
Yeah, the 99-cent store had some expensive $100 bags that I was looking at them.
It was $159 for
Yeah,
a fake
$159 for a pleather bag. And the stitching on it was horrible. Like, I do better stitching, and I have horrible stitching. Like, seriously.
Well, it was straight from China.
It's crazy. I'm just folding it.
Just straight junk. And it was $159 at the 99-cent store. Unbelievable.
Still stitching. Still stitching. It's going to be a minute before all this is fully on here. I literally am just folding and sewing. As long as the raw edge is tucked under all the way around, and it sits nicely. Just folding it into itself and over. Folds really good. It goes on really nice. Really gotta like making bags though to make this. I like making bags. Oh, wait, we got a long ways to go. I keep looking at it. I'm like, hey, am I close yet?
You're almost there. You're getting there. You're doing good. Here, I'll come rub your shoulders again. Doing good.
I can do it. I can do it. We can do it. We can do it. We can help our Cinderella. We can make the bag so pretty. Yippee dippy dippy.
I like it when you sing while you work. Cute.
Oi. Oi. Smush and move and smush and sew. Getting closer to being done. Come on. Go around that corner, Link. Fold it. Sew it. Fold it. Almost there.
Thumper's looking in, watching Mama work. Here he comes. You guys might see him. Here he comes. My arm in the way. Here he comes. He's in the room. I don't think I can see him. He's here giving his support to Mama.
I probably should have done it from the other side because this is hurting my fingers so bad. From the stitch in the ditch side.
Yeah, but you're almost done. You're right there. Yeah, a few more inches.
Yeah. We're getting there.
So close.
We're almost done, my friends. We have a big chunk to go over right here because that's where that top part of the backpack is. Go very slow over it. There we go.
Machine can handle it.
The machine can do it. It's meant for this. This is why I bought this machine, guys. With my trade-in money. I wanted a machine that can sew through dozens of layers. I don't know about dozens, but it definitely sews through, like, so far, like 15 layers. All right, here we go. I'm just going to go ahead and snip away all the excess threads that are sticking out everywhere from the inside of the bag. Make it all nice and pretty.
And little nips.
I don't need little nips. It's just a couple places that there's a big thread. Oh man, I gotta go back over this side right here. Can I have a seam ripper real quick? My lining, my bag is showing right here.
Why do you have it sticking up? Almost put my hand right on it.
I gotta unpick this real quick right here in this section
Cap on that thing.
and fold it better. My fold is a little on the sloppy side, and I didn't cover my seam allowance.
You guys can all see Thumper there giving Mommy support.
Yeah, I didn't cover my seam allowance right here, so it's going to take just a second to rip this little section. Bye. Come on. Are you kidding me? Get in there. Come on. It doesn't want to seam rip. The dumb thing shifted over is what happened because right here is that big chunk for the D-ring connector for the bag. And I'm not leaving it like this, unsewn. I definitely have to have it. Come on. I have to fold it over better. I'm not a perfectionist, but stuff like this does need to be fixed. All right. I'm literally just getting it over the seam because, again, it didn't cover it very well. Right there. Get on there. Okay. All right. Stay on the seam. There we go. There's my slight perfectionist checking. All right, I'm just gonna pull all these rest of these threads now from all over the whole thing. Anywhere that there's something loose that annoys me. Looks good. Looks good. You can see the binding is stitched. You can see it caught it all the way around. That's what we're looking for. Nice and clean. It's all the way around. It caught it all the way around. I don't care what the top part looks like, if it made it in or out, you know. We just want to make sure that it's fully stitched over. All right, the bag is complete. Strap is done. Everything's done. So let's turn this right side out and put it on our back because it's a backpack. And you can see now that this binding makes it all the more tighter and stiffer all the way around. I don't want to break any more nails trying to push this out either.
Want me to do it?
I should have did a double zipper. This one has a single zipper. I didn't even think about that, the double zipper head. So I have a funky top because the pocket lands wherever the pocket lands. I can't control where the pocket lands, my friends. So let's go over to the...
Let's compare it to this one. Let's pull this one out.
Hold on, let me go over here and turn the camera.
I like that zipper better than this zipper, though.
All right, we're coming over here now. We're going to put it on my back. Show you guys how the convertible part works. I'll tip it up right here. Camera's still moving. Right here. I am covered in jean thread, everything. Oof. All right, so here was my first bag. That's jean. Well, I've made more than one, but this is the example. So you can see this one's a little bit more rounded. This one is a little bit more squarish. And this one's also sitting kind of funky. Why is this one sitting funky sideways?
I like the zipper in that one a lot. Although the other one with the butterfly on is pretty cool. Butterfly on it.
I should have done the two-way zipper. It's going kind of crooked. Do you guys see that? Oh, well, guess what? It's a bag. It holds stuff. Let's put our backpack strap on here.
I like them both.
It's going to go through here. And it's going to connect to these bottom parts. Probably not my best work, but we're making it work. Right here. And connect this side to this side. And put it on the back. And the strap is fully adjustable when it's on your back. So you can have it high or low.
Oh yeah, look at that.
So it's my funky backpack. It works. It sits on my back really nicely though. Right here in this position. Really sits nice. Holds a lot of stuff. But it's again only a single zipper instead of a double. And then when you don't want it to be a backpack, you just unhook these straps, pull it out of here, unhook this one, and then hook it to these side things that we're going to let fray over time. And then you have a crossbody, just like that. And you can get to it easily. It doesn't even have to sit across your body. It can sit on the front. So the back inside, the back side has a slip pocket. Super nice, convenient. It's all stripes in there. You're like, which way do we go, George? But the pocket is actually up and down striped, and the rest of the bag is right side to left side. So We got vertical and horizontal lines in there. I don't understand why it's sitting sideways though. It's probably because of the way it shifted when I was sewing it, or maybe I cut it out crooked. I don't know, because we made it up as we went. But there we have it. I think it's neat. It's different. Nobody owns one like this. This is a one of a kind, you know. Definitely a different style. Let's hook the backpack part back together.
They're both cool.
Yeah. They're both unique bags. But you can do this yourself, obviously, if you want to cut things straight and more accurate. You can do that. I, on the other hand, just made a mess of things. So there's the backpack. So I did this in how long?
It stops telling me after 2 hours. It's just 2 hours.
So about 2.5 hours or so.
2.5, 2:45.
So I was able to make this that quick. It took me longer last time. So I guess the more you make, the faster it'll go.
Would you please put a cap on this camera? Make me happy. Is there a cap? Is there a cover? Can we turn it upside down? Yeah.
It goes in itself, but it doesn't stay. Mine's broken.
Well, then leave it upside down like that. Yeah. Thank you.
It doesn't ever poke me.
Well,
all right.
That's because it likes you.
You guys like it? It's pretty cool. It's different. Nobody else has one. Just me.
Ask them which one they like better.
Which one do you guys like better? The funky shaped one? I don't know why it went crooked. That's the problem right here. So it shifted somehow. The whole thing shifted. But it's kind of cool because it gives it that like whatever look. And these just hang here purposely, you know, for crossbody or not. I like them because they're flatter. These ones stick out more. But I don't go too close because there is binding and stuff. I don't want it to like, yeah. I don't know. I think they're both cool. I like this one because it's more accent color, and this one's just all jean.
Yeah, but the whitewash jeans on that, the acid wash or whatever.
The acid wash looks super cool, yeah.
Yeah, I like that about it.
Obviously, that's
It's
not going to stay
It's
upright
not
like that.
sturdy.
But it does fit a jar in the pocket.
You would need a bunch of stuff in the bag. If you had stuff in the bag, then it would stay.
Yeah, I like it. Everything came out nice, minus the crookedness. And that could just be my zipper area. I don't know. Because when you open it, it seems to want to go straight. I have a feeling it's my zipper area shifted. Because look at that. It's open and it's trying to sit straight now. But as soon as you close it, it goes crooked. It's definitely the zipper area. Yeah, the zipper went sideways. It shifted in the assembly process.
So far, they like them both. Nobody's saying that they like one more than the other. They like them both.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. Thank you guys for hanging out today to make a backpack bag. Hopefully you get the picture. You cut out your part of your butt, of your clothes, of your pocket area, you know, and then that whole part of the leg to go with it. One big giant piece. And then you just take your measurements from there. However tall up you want the side to be, cut that first. So if you want to set 4.5 inches up, make it 4.5 inches up. Then pre-clip it on there so that you can get your measurement for the number around the top of the curve. That way, it lays the way it's supposed to. Obviously, everything matched up except for that my zipper shifted on this one and it didn't on this one. But this one is also a double-sided zipper and this one is a single. So maybe if I would have put a double head on there, it would have changed the shift of that. But I like it. It's good. One's bigger than the other. They're all going to turn out different sizes depending on how big your pants are, you know. And then I still have a whole nother back pocket. And I also could make bags from the front pocket because I also have a whole nother leg. So you can also incorporate the front pocket if you wanted to, you know, and have something that's this whole section and then sew the bottom and have a bag. You can make bags however you want out of recycled jeans. So turn your loved one's booty into a bag. All right, guys, enough's enough. I'm done. Bye. I'll see you guys on Sunday.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, good night, good night.